Now for Financial Focus, and today we're talking about the rule of 72. Now, inflation is still at the top of everyone's mind. Gas, groceries, just about everything is getting more and more expensive. So we're discussing this to better understand how high inflation can be a lot more devastating than low inflation. And joining us to talk about this is KTNV financial analyst Steve Budin. Steve, thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, you're very welcome.
So, Steve, consumers, our central bank, the Federal Reserve, and our government officials, they are trying to bring inflation down. What is the rule of 72?
I promise I won't hit our viewers too hard on a weekend morning with too much math. But basically, the rule of 72 is a basic formula. Let's just take an example. If you take the number 72 and you divide 8 into 72, you get 9. Now, the current inflation rate is 8. So if you divide 8 into 72, you get 9. That's the number of years it will take for your dollar to get cut in half. So in the older days, when inflation was at 2 or 3%, if you divide 3 into 72, you get 24 years for your dollar to halve. So when inflation goes up only 5%, it takes 15 years off the amount of time to halve that dollar. And that really is what becomes devastating.
Okay, that is a lot of math this morning. So can you break it down into layman terms? What does this mean, like when I go to the grocery store?
Yeah, well, so let's take a basic example of you go to the supermarket, you buy a dozen eggs, and depending on where you shop, let's say eggs are about $3 a dozen. Now, inflation at 3%, that $3 dozen of eggs will be $6 in 24 years. But inflation at 8% will take that dozen eggs to $6 in only 9 years. So we all know that food prices have been higher inflation-wise than 8%, but at least it just shows it cuts down the time that your dollar purchasing power goes down. And that's why the authorities are doing everything they can to bring inflation under control.
It seems like we've been talking about this for months and months now, and we've told viewers, some ways to alleviate a lot of this is to pay down your debt, maybe strategically plan out your budget. But when are we going to see some relief?
Yeah, if history is any guide, it does take time to bring inflation down. It really just depends on how much of a backbone the financial leaders have in raising interest rates to slow the economy down. Unfortunately, there's not an easy or quick fix to this, but historically it does take anywhere from 1 to 3 years to try to bring this down. The sooner they can work on this, the better. Anybody who says that there's an easy solution is not being entirely truthful, because all of the options at their disposal do create some sort of short-term economic pain.
Steve Budin, thank you so much for being with us. Sorry that you had to be the bearer of bad news, though.
Yeah, sorry.
And we'll be right back after this.